Hey everybody! Well, I've left the technology behind today and decided this promo will stay with something I know. And thought to myself, well, what do I know? Well, and since it's Mother's Day coming up, that what I know is making biscuits. And who did I learn it from? But my mother-in-law. That's to remind us that Mother's Day isn't just for mothers, but it's also for the wonderful mother-in-laws out there who put up with you marrying your spouse. I know that sounds strange, but it's true. My mother-in-law inspired lots of wonderful things for me. Making biscuits is one of them. And why am I making biscuits today? Well, because as I thought about the fact that we're going to record the order of the service on Saturday so that it can be posted without fail up on Sunday morning, that I'm going to get to sit back and do something that I haven't been able to do since I'm a pastor, really. And that is to have brunch. Now, I can't go to the restaurant. And since it's Mother's Day, I'm going to make my wife brunch. And when I asked her what she wanted biscuits and gravy. So I'm going to make biscuits. And everybody's always asked me, Pastor, how do you make those wonderful biscuits? Well, now I'm going to show you today. Here is all it takes. It only takes 3 ingredients. That's it. 3 ingredients. And before I forget, set your ovens at 375. I've already gone over and I've already gone ahead and set my oven at 375 before I begin. What you need is butter. Butter. That's the best thing for it. You can use margarine, but that's got so much water in it that it kind of affects the biscuits in a bad way. It won't rise as well. Then the key ingredient is self-rising flour. Notice it's not all-purpose flour. It is self-rising flour. And of course, the third and final ingredient, low-fat buttermilk or buttermilk. So, what do? The first thing you do is get ready to pound out your biscuits. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is I am going to put a bed of flour down where I'm going to fold my biscuits. I'm going to do that right here. I do that now because my hands are about to be a mess in a little bit. I also am going to open up the buttermilk so that my messy hands won't have to deal with that as well. Oh, and I should probably take off my Fitbit thing. I'll set that right up here. And later on, I will ask my wife, hey, where did I set my Fitbit? So normally, I do not measure things. Because, well, I'm too lazy to measure things. So what I'm going to do is try and remember what my mother-in-law told me. I believe it was you start out with 2 cups of flour, and then you put a stick of butter in, and then if you want a few more biscuits, put in another cup of flour, and that should be 2 sticks worth. So here we go. So what you do is you simply take the butter off, you put it in. Oh, by the way, make sure you've washed your hands because this is a very, handsy thing. Put the butter in and make sure that you set the butter out for a period of time so that it becomes soft. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to deal with. So here we go. So what I'm trying to inspire you to do this Sunday is that as I am sitting around at 9 o'clock eating brunch with my wife, I'm going to be having a watch party on Facebook. I hope everybody has made their wife, mother-in-law brunch and sit around with me and watch the service together. Because remember, I will have recorded already on Saturday. So then what you do is you knead it together like this. You break up the pieces of butter with your hands. So that's what I'm doing right now. So when you're doing this, you need to think about all the things your mom has done for you, all the things that your mother has done to show you her love. And I can see already that I've made a mistake, but a correctable one. I have too much butter for the flour. So it must be 2 cups for every stick of butter. Like I said, I always do this stuff by feel. That's why I'm not a great baker, because bakers require you to measure everything. But when I cook, I just throw the stuff in and make it work out. So now, as you see, I've got all these bits. This is how it should look. Bits of butter and stuff inside here, all broken up. Now, the biggest question is, I have no idea the measurement of the buttermilk to put in. So, let's see. It's probably got to be 2 or 3 cups. But let's see. 1. That's not enough. Let's go with 2. The beauty is, if you have some extra flour left over and you put too much buttermilk in, you can always add more. If you didn't put enough buttermilk in, so now as you see, I'm mixing it around. And if you didn't put enough buttermilk in, then you can always add some more. That's the key. Don't get stuck into that you need this measurement or that measurement, even though it's going to turn out perfect with 2 cups of buttermilk and 4 cups of flour, it looks like. Maybe could be a little wetter. So what I'm going to do then is get all this stuff off. I need just a touch more. See, because as you look at that, it's kind of like Play-Doh, but it's not slimy enough yet. Well, slimy is the wrong word. It still needs to be a little bit moister. So I'm just going to put a little bit in. Just drizzle it in there and then mix it in. That's the key. Don't shove another whole bunch in, because when it looks dry, it suddenly will get really wet. And then you'll have to be going back and forth between how much flour and stuff to put in. And see, that's the consistency that you want. It's not like bread. It's a little different than bread. You want it still clinging to your hands and your fingers as you bring it over to your flour and set it on there like that. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Of course, the problem is that you can't ever get all this stuff off. So what I usually do is go ahead and rinse my hands off in the sink. I'll be right back. All right, now that I've washed my hands off, I'm going to get them dirty again. But one of the key things to do when doing that, pour out a little bit more flour. Okay? Then you take that flour and you put it in your hands so that you got flour on your hands. It'll help you. And then you just sprinkle a little bit of flour on top here. Now, what most people make a mistake, and this is the thing that my mother-in-law taught me and drilled into me after she stopped having a heart attack finding out that her son-in-law cooked. I mean, she came from a long line of men don't cook, get them out of the kitchen kind of things. But once she got over that and found out I was making biscuits at work, I was working at Hardee's, a long story. She took me aside and said, this is actually how to do it. Don't fold it too much. That's the point, is that she says people, they're so used to making bread that has to be kneaded so much. Just fold it over a few times. So fold it over in half like that, press it down, fold it again like that, and I'm going to press it one more time. That's all you need. Just 3 or 4 times. And then you try and press it flat, but not too flat. You got to have, see in there, there's got to be enough left over for it to rise. Because if you press it too much, which I think I just did, I'm going to fold it over one more time, just because I think I pressed it too flat. What I'm going to do then, I think that's just about right. Now, it should be anywhere from 3/8 up, no more than ½ an inch, if I remember my measurements correctly. You should have already set out your baking pan. And then you got a choice. How big of biscuits do you want to make? How big of biscuits do you want to make? You don't want to make this big a biscuit. A lot of people like the small little ones. But I'm just going to make the general accepted size of biscuits today. You get some flour over it like that, and then you just push it in. And you put it in there. One after another. All the way through. That looks, if you look at that there, that is just about the right width that you want your biscuits. These should rise up nice. And you want to put them in close together so that when they're close together, they will not expand out, but expand up. And there's calling for somebody, but I'm not going to answer that phone right now because I'm with you guys. So they'll leave a message. After all, where they're going to go? It's a pandemic, right? Notice I put flour on there each time so that it comes out very easily. Gee, Cindy, who's going to eat all these biscuits today?
Me.
But it's not Sunday. I did promise Lisa Beller some of these biscuits, so.
That's cool, we can share.
So I'll leave her some because she loves these biscuits as well. All right. So now keep in mind, your mom may not want biscuits. This is just what my wife wanted. Now my mom taught me how to cook as well, but that was because she had 6 kids and we all wanted different desserts. And so it came to a certain point in time where she said, look, I'm not making 6 different desserts. I'm buying things for 6 different desserts. Now, notice I went ahead and reassembled everything and I'm kneading it again like this, just a couple of times. And so she said, just tell me what you want, get it, and all 6 of you can cook your own desserts, which is what we really wanted. And well, it looks like I used the correct amount of flour for this particular cookie sheet. very close to it. All right, and there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the biscuits. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the oven at 375. Cook them for about 20 minutes. But keep an eye on them. Sometimes they cook faster, sometimes they cook slower. What you want to do when you're looking at them to see whether they're done is lift up the bottom, not with your hand, a little spatula. And if they're brown on the bottom, they're done. Sometimes they won't brown on the top till you pull them out a little bit. Because sometimes it, anyway, so the key there is that, that's right, I didn't bring that over, I'll have to go do that later. But put little things of butter on top. Take a little knife, butter knife, and just a little dab on there will make it golden brown on top as well. All right, let's see what they look like after we're done. Well, we're back 20 minutes later, and the biscuits are done. They didn't get as brown on top as we would have liked, but that's typical for the biscuits that I make as well. But if you look at the bottoms right here, ouch. See, that's nice and brown. That's how you tell that they're done. And then, of course, you open it up, and there's that sweet stuff. So,
I'll take that one.
okay, it's still hot.
Thank you.
So, but I wanted you to notice that not only are the biscuits done, but what else is different than the last time we were here? I cleaned up. There's going to be no point to you making your mother brunch on Sunday if she has to clean up after you. So, not only are you, if you want to make brunch for your mom, do that, but make sure the most important thing to do is to clean up after yourself, so that your mom doesn't have to clean up after you. Now, again, this is an invitation to come to worship with us together at what's a watch party at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. I'll be sitting around with biscuits and gravy and some other fixings for brunch, and we'll have brunch together. Not in the same place, but we'll have brunch together as we watch and worship our Lord together. See you Sunday.